first speaker is student number 1.
I'm a freshman at South County High School, and today I'm here to address creating an official boys volleyball team across FCPS. Being a freshman in high school and knowing virtually nobody other than freshmen was really hard for me. The volleyball team that we unofficially created connected me to different people and men across the entire school. They gave me a place to belong in such a big school. I've met role models, seniors, upperclassmen that have really helped me in my high school career, but also helped me to feel like I had a place to belong. I feel like being a freshman really is like swimming in a big group of fish, and I'm just floating along. I really felt that these upperclassmen were role models to me, and they really helped. They helped me with everything, almost. I believe given the opportunity for a boys volleyball team would give other kids a place to feel like they belong, just like it did for me. We had so much interest in our unofficial team, actually, that I myself contacted the league director, and we created 2 separate teams for how much interest we had. I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to talk up here today and represent my team and my school. So, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is student number 2.
Good evening to everyone here tonight. My name is Shane Camaro. I am a freshman at WT Woodson. I wasn't invested. When I first discovered boys volleyball, I was in middle school. At first, I wasn't really invested, but after going on and on, day after day, I got really invested. Playing volleyball after school led me to meet a lot of great people who I now call friends. Playing volleyball with others is the fun and best experience you can ever have. This sport, you must play with others and communicate with others. Each game you play with the team, you grow with each other and be closer. For us freshmen, this sport can create bonds that can last a lifetime, which will eventually help us through college and maybe even through adulthood. Me and my friends have been invited to coach a middle school. After coaching these middle schoolers, we wanted to give them the opportunity for next year, hopefully, if this sport became approved as a varsity sport, to give them the opportunity to join an official sport for their high school. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you tonight.
Thank you. Our next speaker is student number 3.
Good evening. My name is Ray Vervita. I'm a freshman at Woodson High School. I'm here before you tonight, together with my volleyball friends, to ask your help to sanction boys volleyball in Northern Virginia. My volleyball story started in middle school. I played several sports, but volleyball is the only sport I've fallen in love with. Ever since I discovered boys volleyball, I've been passionate about playing the sport for my high school. Volleyball has been a big outlet for me. I've met a lot of wonderful people whom I've become friends with. Volleyball helped build my confidence as a person and strengthen my social skills and teamwork. My passion for playing volleyball grew, and I invited a lot of my friends to join me in this growing sport. This passion grew to the point that I continued to play outside of my high school league. To date, I've only played volleyball for a year, and I'm already teaching and coaching students at Frost Middle School. The biggest participation we had at Frost Middle School was 53 kids, and there is a continued growing interest to play volleyball. I'm volunteering time and sharing all the skills I've learned from my coaches because I've seen firsthand how volleyball is making a difference in the lives of other kids. I want to continue to encourage others and help develop their skills for playing volleyball. I'm very thankful to the coaches I had and the opportunities I've been given despite having an unofficial boys volleyball league. They have developed my leadership skills, and I'm hoping that I can continue to contribute to my community. I'm hopeful that I am the middle school, I'm hopeful that the middle schools I'm coaching right now will experience volleyball as a recognized sport when they reach high school, and that can only happen with your support. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is student number 4.
Good evening. I am sorry that I'm not able to attend this in person because I just got back from volleyball practice. I'm a 7th grade student at Thoreau Middle School, and I am here to support the inclusion of boys volleyball in Fairfax County Public High Schools. I was very disappointed to hear that boys volleyball was not a varsity sport in high schools, and I am here to help try to change that. According to the Olympic Program Commission, volleyball is now the most widely played sport in the entire world, even passing soccer. Including volleyball as a high school sport will create opportunities for equity and inclusion. Finally, creating an official varsity program will increase opportunities while also increasing increase opportunities without increasing costs, since the facilities will already be there for the existing girls volleyball team. I hope that you take all of our requests into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is student number 5. Student number 5.
I'm going to start with thank you to the Fairfax County School Board for letting us speak about the potential varsity team or interest group. But I'm an 8th grader going to James Madison High School next year. I've been playing volleyball since I was 9 years old, and I would love the chance to represent my school at playing a varsity sport. There's massive growth in boys volleyball around America, also in Fairfax County. There's steady enrollment numbers in both elementary and middle school boys volleyball teams locally. However, some of my teammates and I drive over an hour away to practice and play at a highly competitive level. We need highly competitive levels at our high schools. There's already Northern Virginia High School Recreational League, so there's active interest in boys volleyball. Some surrounding counties already have boys volleyball in place. Also, a boys high school team can lead to college level play. Thank you for your time and thought.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Joanne Sears.
First of all, as a high school volleyball player, I commend these guys. Let's do it. Let's go for boys volleyball. And I'm also so excited about the teachers who got their national board certified certificates. I just wish the same was true for all of those kids who didn't get their accommodations for scoring high on the PSATs. It's been a month for Fairfax County Public Schools. You guys continue to be in the news domestically and internationally. Here are some of the headlines, in case you missed them, that tell a story about how our school district continues to slip into a deepening crevasse of failure because of you guys. Virginia's school district walks back letter that appeared to exclude white Asians from college prep services. New Asian exclusion app pops up in FCPS program. 84% of Fairfax County parents oppose gender-combined education classes. Fairfax County Public Schools get funding from Chinese government. Fairfax County Public Schools continue to violate FERPA. Fairfax County Public School board member labels World War II Battle of Iwo Jima as human evil. That's pretty sad. Fairfax Public Schools tell students they're inherently biased. Those are some of the news headlines this past month. And what is this board doing about this mess? You've decided to run for higher office because you actually believe that you have the maturity to serve at that level. Some of you have decided to run for re-election. Please don't. Just take your bat and ball and go home. You've made a mess. And finally, some of you have decided to not run for re-election because you know just how badly the school board has performed in the past 3 years. Thank you for going quietly into that good night. Your legacy of anti-science school closers will follow you and your shredded reputations for the rest of your lives. You've hurt our kids. You've hurt our future.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Brian Lucas. Brian Lucas.
Okay, put my speech here. Give me a second. So my name is Brian Lucas, and before I coached youth sports for over a decade, 20 different seasons, all the way up to high school volleyball, high school basketball, I learned how to play volleyball in Santa Cruz, California. And throughout all that process, all that coaching all those years, we always had to take the Positive Coaching Alliance training. It's where they teach us to emphasize, youth sports organizations to see their cultures become more positive, everyone have more fun, help the kids experience improved life skills and character development, coaches and parents to become more positive and increase their focus on using sports to teach life lessons. And throughout that entirety, that was almost immediately forgotten as soon as that training was over, except in volleyball. Volleyball is the one sport in which I have participated where that has maintained throughout. It is the sport that I have experienced as a parent and a coach at the high school level here in Fairfax, where it actually accomplishes those goals. And it is because of the volleyball parents, coaches, and players that are here today supporting this. Fairfax County varsity sports will benefit by including that culture and these people into its varsity sports program.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Kathleen Mallard.
Good evening, school board. Wow, it was an impressive acknowledgement of those teachers and educators who have been renewed and newly certified. Very impressive. I mean, you all have just fabulous people in your schools. Please help them do their jobs. Please help them teach history according to truth and fact. We know that Governor Youngkin has just submitted with VDOE the new standards of learning for history and social studies. In fact, Governor Youngkin's on TV right now, I think on CNN. I guess they wanted to elevate their ratings or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, the Youngkin Virginians have the opportunity to share thoughts and support and make comments on these new revised standards of learning. So I hope that when that is all done, that you all will duly implement them. I also wanted to speak, I spoke with some 5 Longfellow middle school students today. They really want you all to focus on academics. Sports, yes, of course, but stop the social engineering if possible. Also, a friend of mine, Bonnie Kenny, has put together an informative piece on early Virginia history. We're so lucky to live in this wonderful Commonwealth. Virginia was actually considered a country when it first started. Also, Jeff Hoffman, Fairfax County School Board candidate, believes in true freedom and he will preserve education excellence. And he reminds us that efforts to revise history, or worse, remove history of the most radical Islamic terror attack against our country by one of our school board members is not only
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Stephanie Lundquist Aurora.
Good evening. Parents and community members are interested in the way that you will vote on the proposed changes to the family life education curriculum. I think you had some ideas in mind, stacked a committee with activists supporting these ideas, and subsequently surveyed community members about the very predictable conclusions of that activist committee. Perhaps to your surprise, parents, teachers, and students all said no thank you on that survey to the extreme proposed changes. The results, likely purposefully not made available to the public, showed that 84% of parents responded that they were not interested in a co-ed environment for FLE. I personally have a 4th grader. He was just showing me how to do Big 7 division, and I can promise you that he and his friends are definitely not interested in learning about sensitive topics in a co-ed environment. This is a big test for you now. You've been accused multiple times of not listening to us, like when you closed the schools for nearly a year and a half. Will you listen this time? You've seen the survey data, so how will you vote? Speaking of listening to parents, I have reviewed your strategic plan survey. If you were listening, you certainly didn't hear us. I attended your strategic plan listening tour on February 15th at West Springfield High School. Overwhelmingly, we emphasized academic goals. In the survey, all of your stated goals are about equity. And let's talk about those sessions. You used equity partial staff moderators at each table. I also learned that you specifically invited students from the Student Equity Ambassador Leadership Program to attend these meetings. In other words, your staff and student participants at this listening session were meant to guide community members toward the conclusions you had pre-selected, the ones that appeared on the latest survey, in fact. Your game plan is to stack the deck, the committees, the moderators, the student participants, the survey questions. If that doesn't work, you proceed the way you want, equity at all costs, and hope that parents don't notice. Just an FYI, we are noticing, so please vote no on the proposed changes to FLE like we've asked. Finally, I'd like to commend you guys, actually, for making a concerted effort to raise community awareness on the fentanyl crisis. It's injuring and
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have our next speaker?
We do. We're having a minor technical issue. Our next speaker is David Benson.
Hello, I'm David Benson. First of all, I want to say how thankful I am to be able to speak to you in person and be here. You know, I think it's amazing that we have this opportunity. And also to share my feelings as a parent, volunteer soccer coach of U7 boys, and a local business owner that is raising the next generation. Additionally, thank you to the board and individuals that put their time into this, because I like doing my business and I wouldn't prefer to do this. So thank you for spending the time doing it. I know that everyone's desire is to help make our children's lives better at the end of the day. I'd like to speak to the upcoming agenda item on March 30th regarding this combining the genders in sex ed. Now, I am a father of 3 children and I live locally in Vienna in the Wolf Trap Elementary School District. My 2 daughters are 11 and 8 and they're in 5th and 3rd grade. And my son, who's 6, is in kindergarten. I would like to speak specifically to the grades 4 through 8. These children range from 10 to 14 typically, and during this time, it is my understanding that they can participate or not participate in the family life education. I do enjoy the fact that you can opt out of this program or opt into it. And as a Christian, my wife and I would like to speak with our children about many of these things directly versus that others that share maybe different beliefs or values. Now, regarding those classes that we feel like they could opt into, I believe that it would be best to split those, boys and girls only. My opinion is that they be assigned to the class of the sex they were either labeled at birth or their birth certificate, something like that. It should not be how they identify at that age, since they're so young. I'm not running out of time. Regardless, I have love for others, and I just want to say that, okay.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Diana Smith.
Good evening. I'm here to speak in honor of Mr. Harry Moranian, my McLean High School teacher 50 years ago. He taught that understanding the zeitgeist of the times was critical to understanding our present and impacts our future. I speak in admiration of his ability to help us develop skills to understand complexities, his desire that we know not only what happened, but to understand the context, undercurrents, and groundswells, who during the height of the Cold War, 1 year after the Czech invasion, took us to Moscow so we could see firsthand the differences between life in a democracy and life in the Soviet Union. He taught every facet of history righteously. He taught us to think and assess based on common human values and to call out views that were not fact-based. The Virginia proposed SOLs on history and social studies are the antithesis of Mr. Moranian. No student will realize 50 years later the powerful gifts of history if these are allowed to dominate teaching in Virginia. The SOL's glaring loss of context, events, and social movements undercuts students' ability to make use of history lessons. The word fascist is never mentioned, suffragettes are ignored, as are labor unions. I trust FCPS has reviewed these SOLs and found the developmentally inappropriate content, the mistakes and omissions, the rote learning, and other issues, and that these concerns were delivered to DOE. I hope to see FCPS curriculum developers at the Virginia Department of Education road trip on March 14th at Mount Vernon to speak out. If we don't speak out now, the zeitgeist of our time will be known for our acquiescence to ignorance and fear. Superintendent Reed, please make sure Fairfax speaks up.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jennifer Litton-Tidd.
I went to the funeral yesterday of Judy Heumann, our mother of the disability rights movement. As a child in the 50s, she was denied access to school as a wheelchair user. She brought the first disability civil rights case to federal court in 1970 and won. She and disability rights activists protested nationwide to force Nixon to sign the Rehabilitation Act, then shut down the U.S. Capitol in 1990 to force Congress to pass the ADA. Judy said of disabled activists, "For we are leaders of inclusiveness, of community, of love, equity, and justice. Equality isn't about treating everyone the same. It's about fairness. It's about equity of access." The rhetoric from those intent on exclusion, ending equity, and dehumanizing children on the margins is disgusting. Those attacking diversity are denying the intellect and aptitude of diverse learners. Those attacking equity don't get that some kids need more supports to access school. Those attacking inclusion think our schools are the province of non-disabled kids that disabled kids are invading. Those chanting anti-merit engage in persistent ableist dog whistles that dehumanize and shame disabled users. Ableism is anti-merit. I have an autistic ID son in 11th grade who reads at a 4th grade level, an 8th grader in level 4 who reads at a 12th grade level. Their outcomes likely won't be equal, but their access to education must be equitable. Nobody will erase the work of Judy Heumann and the disability rights movement on my watch. We're loud, we're fierce, and we will never stop demanding equity and justice for our people.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Moy Drake.
Good evening. I'm Moy Drake, and I'm here on behalf of my son, who's actually at volleyball practice, and his teammates, as well as the 400 boys within the county in Nova that are currently playing volleyball. But before I go on with my comments, since the boys here have already done half of my job for me, I really want to be able to applaud them for the amazing job that they did. So. That being said, I'm going to skip through half my comments because I've already run out of time. So, why am I here? I am here because these kids are champions for change. When my son didn't have an opportunity to play volleyball for South County, he created a team, and I guarantee that many other students as well have done the same. And so they have inspired me, and I hope that you will be inspired as well, as they're dedicated stewards within the school system. Recently, an alliance of advocates for boys volleyball to become an official sport has been created, and our kids just want to be recognized as part of an official part of their school. We hope that you can help validate them by supporting our mission. I'm going to share with you parts of the letter that we helped to join a coalition to support these kids. They are the biggest stakeholders of the FCPS strategic plan. And as you develop your plan, please hear and listen to what they've said. So, highlights of this letter, since I have 20 seconds left. Okay, so 35 teams have formed, almost 400 boys, 200% increase. We are asking, there's already 16 of the 25 FCPS schools that have been in interest clubs, but we need your help. So we are going to propose an action plan that's going to go out to all the principals, superintendents, and everybody else.
Thank you. That was our final speaker. We also have 2 video testimonies. The first is from student number 7.
Hello, I'm Andrew Drake, a sophomore from South County High School. I started the unofficial boys volleyball team here with a friend. I think volleyball is a really fun and engaging sport that requires teamwork and communication. I think volleyball is important to become a school-sponsored sport because there's many boys out there who want to play volleyball but don't have the opportunity. I think having volleyball become a school-sponsored sport will allow students to play a sport they love with their peers, and it'll increase school pride and strengthen the community.
And our next video submitted by Taylor Brock.
Hello, my name is Taylor Brock. I'm a military spouse and a mother who loves her children more than anything in this world. Recently, my son appeared in a video that was seen by millions of people in the United States and around the globe. In this video, my son was not kicking the winning field goal, winning the spelling bee, or welcoming his father home from a deployment. My son was being strangled by a fellow student aboard his Fairfax County school bus. After being summarily dismissed by the school administration, I was forced to go to the police, report the crime, and was issued a protective order, which I gave to the school, that stated the girl who tried to kill my son was to remain 50 feet away from him at all times. Not only did the school not take this seriously, they didn't even tell my son's teachers, who were horrified to find out that a restraining order was even put in place. The judge who issued this restraining order was also shocked to hear that the girl was still in school. According to Fairfax County Schools, strangulation is a Level F, Category 5 offense, PD9, malicious wounding without a weapon, meaning the child who tried to strangle my son using her bare hands should be completely removed from the school, and a year-long expulsion should be considered immediately. Not only did you put my son's life in danger, you are putting other children's lives in danger by dismissing these violent acts. You say in your safety handbook, FCPS is committed to the consistent and equitable implementation of discipline policy, regulations, and practices across all schools and educational programs. But I say that is completely false because you never protected my son. And the perpetrator that tried to strangle my son still remains in your school, while the victim of this crime, my son, was forced to leave his friends and transfer to another school because you ensured he was in a constant state of fear and trauma. Fairfax County schools do not care about military families or the victims of violent crimes.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 3.02.